Hello and welcome to CIO Live here in ASEAN. My name is Chris Holmes, Editor-at-Large, and I'll be your host today. I'm very pleased to welcome Sharik Khan, Head of IT at Ergo Insurance here in Singapore, as part of our Leadership Live series where we talk to tech leaders across the region. So Sharik, before we get into our discussion around modernization, maybe you could just give us a little bit of background as to how you became a tech leader.
Yeah, hi Chris. Thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. Sure. So basically, I'm a science graduate, and I did software engineering after completing my study, and I got a job into as a lecturer in India. I started working as a lecturer teaching computers in India, and I work I think around 1 year plus, and then I moved to the more on the programming side of as a software engineer. I got the opportunity to work in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. And I started doing coding that time in some languages, which was as old developer 2000 Oracle. Yeah, and I worked a couple of years there, and then all the internet came in and the revolution about the Java and new tech, and since that time I decided to come back to Mumbai, took on the job training into new technologies, and then after that I migrated to Singapore. In Singapore, took a short basically. Is primarily I have been spending more time with the financial service industry. So I have been more on the insurance industry last 14 years, working for major insurance, more on the different roles, basically more on the IT management, project management, and in between leadership roles. And since last 3.5 years, I've been working with Ergo Insurance to lead the IT function. Yeah. Coming back to the leadership role, so this since the tech was one of the area when I started my career, which I was forcing it to revolutionize the whole industry, and it will be part of everyday walk of life, and decided tech should be in the career. And then after working for a few organizations, I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to lead the entire tech function basically. And the first one was around 9 years back, one of the major insurance in Singapore, and then last 3.5 years with Ergo.
That's great. Thanks, Sharik. So let's get into this conversation around the modernization program. So maybe just give us a little bit of an idea as to sort of, well, the organization you work for today, what it was like when you arrived, and what were those key drivers for modernization?
Yeah, very interesting questions here. And also it was a coincidence when I joined Ergo 3.5 years, and then the COVID started. So the first challenge for us to how to ensure the continuity of the business for the people who are working from home, like any other organizations. I face similar challenges to ensure the continuity of the business, and how to ensure our bandwidth, people can still work with the proper speed and everything, and they have notebook, laptops, and yeah. So at that time, basically, started upgrading our bandwidth, making sure that everything in place for them to work continuity, and then also the decision was taken that time to run let's go to the cloud. Basically, cloud was one of the major program as a foundation for our modernization, or I would say net tech transformation in the company. And we were thinking, comparing couple of options, couple of vendors, basically to ensure that we complete our as many as systems possible to move to the cloud. So we have the flexibility. And the key driver that time is that MAS regulator also introduced the cyber hygiene rules, and there are a very strict timeline to make sure that all the financial institutions are compliant to that, and we are running out of time. And for us, the option was that either we upgrade our servers, which were on-premise, to meet the requirement, which were very aging, or move to the cloud. So we did the comparison of several options and finally decided, okay, let's migrate to the cloud. And that time, as usual, the normal concern was security, and that time we still were there with our group, and then we did a lot of homework and made sure we did. And that's how we started. Within 1 year, we migrated. So we are still in the hybrid cloud. We use two major cloud providers we are on, and also a bit in the on-premise. And that's why it was a quite success story. I would say you can see the case study on all the website, basically in the AWS website and other places. We completed within 1 year our major system migration to the cloud.
And so with that, just give us an idea as to sort of how big Ergo Insurance is. I mean, you talked about having to ensure the business continuity. How big a task was that? How many employees did you have to sort of support?
Yeah, so let me give you a bit background about the company, basically. Many people might not know about Ergo in Singapore, to be honest, yeah. So it's a part of basically Ergo is an insurance company, and we are part of Munich Re. Munich Re, one of the largest reinsurer in the world, and we are the insurance arm of the Ergo. Ergo is present in more than 30 countries, and we offer health, life, and general insurance products. In Singapore, it's a whole and own entity company of Ergo Group, and we are MAS registered, and we insure general insurance products in Singapore. Our key target basically market is potentially B2B. We sell a lot of commercial insurance and also a small part of the B2C retail. Yeah. Okay, functions in Singapore basically is about the size of the company. It's not that big because it was not that old history of Ergo in Singapore. It was around 2014-15 when the Ergo acquired a local insurance company and they rebranded. And hence there were a lot of legacy processes, systems, and whole thing need to be modernized or revamped basically.
Okay, that's great. And so let's continue that conversation around sort of the moving. I mean, you had the move to the cloud, and that was the basis of the modernization. So what other parts of the business did you move forward to modernize?
So more about the application, because some of the cores, as you know, that in any insurance industry company, basically the core is the core insurance system, policy administration system, and which is the legacy systems running on the old technologies. So first thing is that for us to be cyber compliant, cyber hygiene compliant, MS compliant, which we did after migrating to cloud, at the same time putting some of those servers. So we have the agility once we move to the cloud, because upgrading those servers was not an option. Yeah. And once we migrated, we also started migrating bought a new platform, and we started migrating all those products from the back old platform into the new platform. So 90% of the products are already completely migrated to new platform. It is running pretty fine from last couple of years. Yeah. And then there were several other parts also of as you know, in any organization, we have the process automation, we have the finance systems, because sometimes we need to send using the statement of account to multiple from different system to the agent, and some of the older legacy system does not support PDF generation statement. So how you measure it, how you ensure, and that's why we introduced the robotics automation. Yeah, so that was also saved some time and the efforts.
So, and again, with that modernization, you've got that cloud backbone, and then you've been able to actually move the applications to that and start to embrace some of these newer technologies. Maybe you just touch a bit on what you're thinking about in almost those next generation technologies that you're looking to actually explore to bring into the business.
Yeah, so as you know, that currently very hot topic of AI, ML, generative AI as such. Yeah. So we are still we have started experimenting this technology already. So we do have our roadmap for last I think I would say next 3 years, but 1.5 or next 2 years we are very clear about our priority, our strategy, that okay, we need to implement this system, so roadmap. But in between, the hype is about the generative AI. How do you ensure that okay, this also we cannot leave it that behind, and we will change the way it works. But we are using very cautious approach, because at the same time we need to have proper guidelines with the group and making sure the security wise we are compliant. At the same time, we have to also continue to train our people, and that's why we have started training our people, my team, and we are experimenting using the technology. So that is part of the current technology. However, coming back to the cloud was the foundation of that, making sure that it gives the agility and the speed and the savings. And then about the process automation, how we ensure that all of our underwriting processes, claim processes, we reduce all the manual work. We try to optimize using technology. Yeah. So that is one of the key area which we also working on along the way, because transformation takes time. It's not one day or one night job, and the new things keep on coming up. So we need to ensure that we also don't leave them behind, and we continue to start exploring those new technologies as well.
And can I just ask a question around that roadmap? Because again, this is always very interesting as to sort of like what drives that roadmap. Is it the business giving requirements to IT, but also IT coming up with things like RPA and the newer technologies and being able to sort of suggest those to the business, that they can actually have a positive impact?
So to me, it's a both way, right? So first, the key thing is that, the business outcomes. IT need to ensure how do we achieve business outcome, right? The objective, the targets, how to ensure whatever the target we achieve, how technology can help, whether from the increasing the revenue of the company from the sales side of it or optimizing the process, saving time and efforts. Yeah. So sometimes, so that's the key in mind. And when we drive our roadmap, so we also keep in mind, okay, how we can ensure that objects are aligned, how technology can help it. Then at the same time, we also do the bottom of work, where our team also exploring new technology, the new way of working, which business may not be aware. Of course, now everybody knows about generative AI and other stuff. Yeah. So we also discuss within a team and we propose to the management, and then we discuss, okay, initiative will help to achieve the objectives or ensuring of the regulatory compliant, because there are a lot of changes in terms of regulatory transformation also happening, because previously everything was file based. Now everything like LTR, Land Transport Authority in Singapore, even MOM, where we need to submit all that information, it has to be through API. So how do we ensure if the GST change, all these things are happening parallelly and ensuring that, we work closely.
And again, I mean, it's very interesting because you're talking about that sort of roadmap, and it's driven, a lot of those drivers there are compliance driven, and we talk about the technology, but also a key initiative is actually ensuring that the people are able to actually develop and deliver on these new technologies. So maybe you could just talk about how you actually manage the skill sets required to actually deliver what's on the roadmap.
Yeah. So it's part of currently, we do not do as of now so much in-house software development. And that's why we rely a lot of partners. So one way that we continue to hunt our InsurTech partners for new technology where we can partner them to bring the latest technology or new way of working into the company initiatives. At the same time, we also know that we continue to train our people. So we learn also. So they continue to have a training, and once they have understand the technical skill of it and also the business side of it, and then how we can merge together to ensure that we achieve the key objectives. So making sure the people, they understand the objectives, what is really they're supposed to do. They also understand the technology, basically, which they can help, which can help them to achieve the objectives. So they have to undergo training, and that's why the company are also basically helpful to give us that training initiative and ensure that every one of us learns something. Yeah.
That's great. And so maybe, I mean, we've touched on a little bit of new technologies. You've hinted around some of the generative AI projects, but what's next in that sort of, in your modernization story?
Yeah. So technology is always evolving, right? And what is today and after 3 years, 4 years, something else will be there. Yeah. But the one thing is sure that the business, the key thing, especially about the insurance, it has been a legacy business from years, right? 100, 200 years that there is a sales, there is the underwriting, ops, operations, and then finally the finance and the claims, basically. So these processes will remain same. But the thing is that how do we ensure how we can assist using technology to continue to evolve it, right? So today RPA, now is generative AI, and then there will be something else. And so for us, we already have some key strategic initiative, right? How we can optimize our pricing. How do we ensure that our pricing, because it's one of the key part of the insurance business, how we ensure that we understand risks better. And that's why we feel that generative AI can help us to do some routine tasks. So our underwriters can focus on the key risk. And once they assess the risk properly, it will do pricing better. It will also the outcome better for the company in terms of the business goals.
That's great, Sharik. And I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but thanks once more for sort of sharing your journey and also talking through about your modernization program and giving us a glimpse into what that future looks like.
Thank you very much.
So that concludes today's CIO ASEAN interview. My name is Chris Holmes, and I've been talking to Sharik Khan, Head of IT at Ergo Insurance Singapore. Any comments or questions, please reach out to me on LinkedIn.